Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video, we're going to be doing our weekly Walking Dead Q&A video, leading up to, of course, the return of the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon in less than 2 months. We're also going to talk about just, some of your questions, your comments, your predictions, all that stuff on some recent topics of the Walking Dead universe. So, keeping the Q&A grind going, of course, want to keep the Walking Dead Q&As going. I also wanted to make sure that, obviously we were going to have time to do, Dexter reviews and stuff like that for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be reviewing Dexter Resurrection. You Dexter fans, stay tuned for that. I'm so freaking excited for that season, but still want to get the Walking Dead universe Q&A video though done. It's just a little bit later this week, so apologies for that. But anyway, I've been going through a lot of y'all's comments on some of the recent videos and some of the recent things, and honestly, I've never seen anything like this before, and I genuinely want to ask you guys what you guys think, because, your guys' opinion is the biggest thing that matters here, because you guys are the fans that are keeping these shows going right now. When I did a video the other day about the reunions and the reunions that Gimple wants to do, right, which we can't take his word seriously. I mean, look at where he's, brought us in this franchise.
Was a big old piece of trash.
Gimple has really ruined this name in a lot of areas, you know what I mean? But, I kind of was hearing some of y'all's comments, and I've never seen something like this before, which is that I saw comment after comment after comment, not just one, not just two, like several people telling me the same thing, which is, Dan, I don't care. I don't want the reunions. It's far from over. They need to just let this thing die. Walking Dead's dead. Get on with it. It's done. You know what I mean? That's what I've been hearing. And I wasn't hearing that before Dead City Season 2. Now it's even worse than it was before. And again, I'm just going by what y'all are saying. Like, I'm still watching these shows. You know what I mean? I'm still, tuning in. But I even heard some people saying, Dan, don't bother watching it. You should just, cover other things, which we do. We cover Dexter. We just did Prison Break reviews. I'm getting back on my Lost reviews soon. There's other shows that we cover. There's other content on the channel that we cover. For good reason, because Walking Dead's going down the drain, Luckily, we have a lot of other shows that we review and we cover on the channel on a regular basis. You know what I mean? But Walking Dead's one of the big ones that we've covered over the last few years, and I've honestly never seen so many people tell me to drop The Walking Dead. Well, listen, I'm not going to drop The Walking Dead because this is what got me on YouTube to begin with. So I'm not going to drop The Walking Dead pretty much no matter how bad it gets. You know what I mean? Would I rather they bring it to a conclusion in a year or two from now and just say they're done with it? Admittedly, yes. Honestly, I think it needs to be put down. But they're not going to do that. So, unfortunately, I got to sit there and watch some of these shows. I got to, tune in because I do still care about the characters that are in these shows. But admittedly, y'all, I've never seen anything like it, which is just the level of just people telling me to not watch the shows. People saying that the reunions don't matter anymore, that they've waited too long. So I'm going to ask you guys this. Have they waited too long? Have they waited too long to do these reunions to a point where now it's not even worth it? You know what I mean? That's one thing I genuinely would love to kind of, hear from you guys. Do you think it's been too long? Do you think it's overdue? And do you think that by the time we get the reunions that we're all, campaigning for, that maybe, it doesn't really hit the same? You know what I mean? Would Daryl and Rick's reunion hit the same in 2027 or 2028? Would it hit the same as it would have if they would have done it in 2024, right? That's a good question right there. But anyway, with all that further ado, I'm going to get into your questions. Also, small apologies. There's construction right outside my window right now, so if you hear beep, 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 you'll know why. Let's get into the questions. First one for today comes from Tig, who says that, Dan, I heard that there was a new series that actually beats The Ones Who Live on its premiere on AMC Plus. Figured I'd let you know about that. Yeah, I've heard a few people kind of talking about that. There was like a new show that beat Ones Who Live's premiere in ratings on AMC Plus or something like that. I mean, honestly, it makes sense. I mean, Walking Dead is not, as big as it once was.
I ain't as good as I once was.
I mean, I think I even heard the Dark Winds on AMC Plus beat them as well. So, I mean, it makes sense. Walking Dead's not as popular as it once was. The Ones Who Live, though, I think the reason why people are making such a big deal about this is that The Ones Who Live was a big series, though. Like, when that show came out, everybody was stopping what they were doing to watch the return of Rick Grimes and the conclusion of Rick Grimes. So, yeah, it makes sense that it's getting beaten now, because Walking Dead's kind of fallen off the popularity train, you know what I mean? It kind of has been, I'd say, for a few years, but, you know, I mean, when The Ones Who Live came out, it was big. Like, it was a big, big thing, you know what I mean? So, it's, yeah, it's pretty crazy, but to be honest, I'm not surprised. Next one comes from Tristan, who says that, Dan, honestly, I really don't have any high hopes for these, seasons. The writing has just not really been it. Honestly, though, Dan, I gotta say, since Dead City is filming in September, as you reported, I'm actually kind of curious. Did they write this season in 1 week like they did season 2? Because it sure as hell felt like they did when I watched season 2. Damn! So, if you write a season of television in a week, you're either using AI or you're just a really shitty writer. It's one of those two. You know what I mean? Or you're just really on the grind, I guess. It's a short season. I guess it's not impossible. But when it comes to, like, well, you guys know this. I have my own zombie apocalypse series, World Gone Mad. You know what I mean? That I know some of y'all watch. And I could never write a season in a week. I have trouble writing an episode in a week because I just, I add so much to my scripts over time that I just, that's kind of how it goes. I guess quick plug, if you haven't watched it, World Gone Mad, my own apocalypse series. If you're looking to watch some cool zombie content, I do provide that on the channel as well. Yeah, no, like, honestly, I gotta tell you, man, The Walking Dead with the writing, no, I have low expectations too. That's why I'm not as mean to Dead City as most reviewers are. You know what I mean? I gave it a 6.5. It's fine, I know some people, like, which I won't name names, but there's some people that were ripping on this season to a degree that I was just like, oh my god, like, did it do something to you, But I get it though, man. I understand it. Listen, that's the one thing about The Walking Dead that you guys have to remember. Have low expectations for the spinoffs. If you have low expectations for the spinoffs, you might come out in a decently, good mood. If you have high expectations for these shows and you're expecting a direction and a massive purpose and a this and this, you're honestly going to get disappointed. You're going to be let down. So that's kind of how I operate with it. But again, I know people approach the spinoffs in different ways. That's how I approach it, at least, but, that's just me. The next one comes from Minecraft, who says that, I don't know, Dan, the hallucination idea with Glenn, while it does sound cool, it's also just them reusing old things and recycling old plots like Dead City does. Honestly, I don't see much of a point in it. I kind of understand that perspective, I gotta be honest. There goes that damn tractor beeping again. I don't know if you guys hear this outside. Anyway, point being, yes, I know. The Glenn hallucination element is definitely, recycling old things. But to be honest, the reason I'm kind of for it is because I've been asking for this even since the original show. Like, I was asking for a hallucination of Glenn for a long, long time. You know what I mean? So it's, to me, it's kind of an up in the air thing. I would like to see it happen. I would like to honestly see Steven Yeun reprise his role, have a hallucination with Maggie, here and there. I think it would be kind of an enjoyable thing. But again, it's I know it's kind of like recycling old plots, which Dead City does a lot of. But we know Scott Gimple is in talks with Steven Yeun and asking him to return to the role. So we'll see. I personally think Steven Yeun, if I'm being real, even though I'd love to see his performance as Glenn again for a quick scene for Maggie, I think he should just stick to Invincible. I'm going to say it, what I'm saying? And I'm as big of a Walking Dead fan as you can get. I think he should just stick to, what he's doing right now. Invincible is bringing him success, you know what I mean? And I think he should continue down that lane. Plus Steven Yeun's really successful now anyway. One of the most successful Walking Dead actors since The Walking Dead, took him out of the show. So, honestly, good for him, honestly. If we see Glenn, we see Glenn, but I'm not going to be demanding it. But I think it'd be cool. You know what I mean? I think it'd be a cool scene for Maggie. I think it'd be enjoyable. But again, do we need it? Probably not, So I get that for sure. And the next one comes from Buzz, who says that, Dan, honestly, I think, yes, you are 100% right. The reunions should have happened first, then the spinoffs. 100%. Yes, that's what I've been saying in all the videos. We should have had Daryl reunite with Rick in The Ones Who Live. Then you put the Daryl Dixon show in the same timeline as Dead City, so that at that point, they're in the same timelines, and it's been several years since Daryl has been back with Rick. Easy solution, because at that point, Daryl knows that Rick's alive and well at the Commonwealth, and then we can watch Daryl tour the world for 10 seasons, if you please to do so there, Mr. Gimple. So, honestly, I think that's the better way they could have gone about it, but unfortunately they didn't, which kind of puts us in this purgatory spot where you feel like you gotta watch the shows, but you really don't want to, but you gotta do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just in case we get those crossovers. So, it is what it is. That's the way Walking Dead's operating these days. It is unfortunate, but it's reality, I guess, you know. And the last one comes from Richard, who says that, honestly, Dan, I disagree. I think the spinoffs, while they're not successful on their own, I think they've been enjoyable, and I think they're good. I think, Dan, you just got to be patient and maybe get something that you want going forward. Well, thank you very much for the positive feedback. Honestly, I try with these spinoffs. I mean, honestly, y'all have seen it, you know. With Daryl Dixon, you know, I try to be nice to it. I try to be nice to Dead City, despite some of the writing decisions that I don't like them killing Isabel off, or, you know, other elements of the story that I just think are not that good, you know what I mean? To be honest, the thing is with me is that I'm not really patient, to be honest. That's kind of not a word I would use for it. I'm kind of just moderately watching it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing the reviews with y'all, I'm watching it because I'm loyal to it, but I'm kind of just moderately there, you know what I mean? Because my interest has dropped since The Ones Who Live. Ever since there was, like, no sense of where these were going, I've kind of just checked out at that point, and I kind of have been. So I'm kind of now just watching dumb TV, which sucks, because The Walking Dead, the original Walking Dead, is my favorite TV show of all time. So to get me to that low of a level, a Walking Dead YouTuber that's been doing this shit for 9 years, man, like, you gotta try to get me to that point, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, yup, when the spinoffs happen, I'll watch them. I have no expectations. Let's just see what they are. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. And that's Gimple for doing that, because I used to have hype beyond words for this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Now I'm just like, I've got hype, but it's for what could happen instead of what is happening, you know what I mean? So it is kind of unfortunate. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Post your comments down below, guys. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, sure to click subscribe. But you don't miss any other videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of the Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies did a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.